Sorry, sir, you have failed that douche test. You have come off as an absolute douche.
So, last week...
we're going to address it. We're going to get right into it. Did you guys have that on your bingo card that she's going to get just immediately into it? Just right into it? Let's go.
Man, she sounds...
The third reason I called, frankly, I needed time to reflect. I appreciate that, Mr. Lessie.
You're welcome.
That's a big notebook.
Sure is.
Who doesn't like Mr. Alessi? Find me someone that doesn't like Mr. Alessi, and I'm going to say not true. You're just being ornery. Because Mr. Alessi is just a mensch. Just a mensch of a mensch.
You know what? Actually, I'm going to take 5 minutes to just quickly go through this.
That would be excellent. Thank you, Your Honor.
Actually, she's going to take a time out and go back and review it. Actually.
You are muted.
She's taken her little 5-minute time out to go back there and read it, consult, take a phone call. Who knows? She's taking a powder. Yeah, are you kidding?
Auntie Bev has lost all credibility. She knows it. We know it. Let's see how she tries to scamper her way out of this
Why
one.
don't you go ahead and continue?
Thank you, Your Honor.
We love a table of contents. Alessi, gold star. Gold star, my guy.
The court's comments go viral.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying this for drama's
He just brought
sake.
the internet to the
I'm
courtroom.
saying this for what has impacted the defense 6 weeks before trial starts while jury notices are out in the mail. Their credibility is being pillared throughout the public domain. And
I can't watch.
this could have been avoided.
So many times throughout his argument, the judge is like, I agree with you. I agree with you. I agree with you. She agrees that, Wolf wrote it to Jackson. She agrees that that's what she said. So I started to think, okay, the betting odds changed from when she first walked out of the courtroom to when she showed up for this hearing today.
There's obviously Rule 14 violation because the federal government is not giving you materials to turn over to the other side about the experts. So even though you cannot comply with your Rule 14 obligations, there is still a Rule 14 violation. And that's what Judge Cannoni was discussing on the record. Well, on June 18th, 2024, that was when the voir dire happened of Dr. Rentschler and Dr. Wolf. So out of the presence of the jury, Judge Cannoni decided that the remedy for this Rule 14 violation is that we'll be able to have them come have a voir dire out of the presence of the jury, and you can ask any questions that you want. And there was no limitations. And this is what Robert Alessi stressed. There was no limitations about what questions you are allowed to ask Dr. Wolf and Dr. Rentschler. Adam Lally could have asked whatever he wanted.
Had they asked those questions,
Your Honor, they fucked it. It's not our fault. It's not our fault. They can ask whatever they want. It's not on us that they didn't ask.
but I want to get to the prejudice and I want to get to
the Rule
some
14
of the
issues
other
were
important
answered
issues.
by the voir
I'm
dire.
going to
That was the
highlight this. I'm going
point.
to come back to it, Your Honor.
There's no harm, no foul. There's no prejudice. They know it and they can ask ARCA about it in trial number 2.
So far, Alessi is on fire. It is going swimmingly. That invoice came out of the blue. And regardless, Your Honor, we didn't know if we could pay it. So we called the U.S. Attorney's Office because we were like, what is that? And we called this guy, Deitch, at the U.S. Attorney's Office. And he said, yeah, you could pay it. Go ahead, pay it. And then they paid it. July 25th of 2024, long after the mistrial was declared on July 1st of 2024.
If nothing happened, like, to me, the only issue that would have existed is if there was some kind of agreement, either oral or written, with ARCA prior to Wolf getting on the stand and saying, we are getting no monies, we have received no monies, we've been paid nothing at that time. If there was agreement in place prior to that, that's where the issue lives. If they get an invoice after trial and the defense calls the U.S. Attorney's Office, said, hey, man, do we pay this? Like, why is that an issue?
I don't think it is if they had
if it was a surprise, like he said, I don't think it's an issue.
If there's still concerns with the court, we will take them on as best we can, and certainly candidly.
He's not even asking to
I
remove
appreciate
Brennan.
that. Before I give
Wow.
the Commonwealth an opportunity to respond, I need 10 minutes.
Oh, wow. Oh, my God. This is unbelievable stuff. This is some of the most stellar
You are muted.
lawyer work I think I have ever had the pleasure of witnessing in my entire ever-living career.
Even if we were to assume that all these communications with the defense and ARC experts happened, and maybe there's a lot more that we don't know about, but everybody agrees that the communications only began after the ARC experts performed the reconstruction and came to the conclusions. That is a luxury that the Commonwealth is not going to have. The Commonwealth, they have their reconstruction expert, and they hired him. They know already, they're working together when he was actually performing this reconstruction. He knows what the Commonwealth wants him to conclude. So even if we were just to cut it off right then, obviously it would seem that the ARCA experts are still going to have more credibility, even if all this stuff is true. They're going to have more credibility because at the time that they were performing the reconstruction, there was no outside influence from the defense or the Commonwealth.
There were intentional lies. Let's call them what they are. I know that Alessi does not want to call them lies in open court, but he called them lies. That's what he said. Brennan lied to you 10 times over. And rather than, and this is why I called him a mensch, rather than saying, look, how about we remove this guy? He's like, no. Let him stay on. But I want to make sure that the court is aware of the deceptions that were put before you. They failed to correct them. They failed to address them. They went viral. The media is now involved. The jury pool is being tainted. But despite all of that, he says, let's continue moving forward.
Okay, then we get to Brennan's arguments. He said you should consider repetitive violations, which he thinks the defense has here.
It's like, are we living in some sort of fictional reality?
I want to know how it changed. Tell me, how do you think it changed?
Look at the first page.
Yes. It is literally bullshit.
Wow.
I still say that is literally nothing bullshit. They already have his CV.
This is crazy.
I don't, for him to be like, I wasn't allowed to contact them. Well, you weren't allowed to talk about their underlying shit, but you were surely allowed to contact them. You just had no reason to because you don't want to call them and you hate their opinion. So I feel like so much of what he's saying is complete and total bullshit.
The defense portrayed ARCA as independent, no bias or collaboration. I agree with that.
So you're going to double down? You're not going to address any of it? You're going to, no. The defense represented the experts as independent. That's where we're going.
There wasn't during that trial. It wasn't until after the trial was over. What part of that don't you understand? What part of that don't you understand? They drop mailed them a bill. They cold billed them. They didn't know the bill was coming. It was after the trial was over. You stupid ass.
Thank you very much.
Sir, where are your tabs?
I wrote question marks here because he starts talking about the murky relationship between the defense and I believe he says the United States Attorney's Office, which how often do we have that where there's a relationship at all, murky or otherwise, between the defense and the United States Attorney's Office, the federal prosecutors?
It is the bias and the leaning towards one side that
It's
was
a professional
not
gaslighter.
the first trial to disclose it last week or 10 days.
Good God.
So let me
What a
offer
dangerous
quick
opponent.
history.
So again, he's suggesting that there must have been more communications here. It must be that there's more going on here. And that's what he's saying. It says it doesn't seem right when you have these communications, these emails in March, Then again, 2 emails in March, no communication until June 10th. And that's it. Like, it just seems like we're missing. It just seems like we're missing stuff. That's what he's suggesting.
So is it like they're in cahoots? Because that seems like a good thing for the defense. And do you know what I was thinking this whole time? Maybe this is bad of me, and maybe I shouldn't have been thinking this. But you know what I think would really just solve this entire problem? Let's just be honest with the jury. These pesky rules of evidence are so annoying. Let's just tell the jury all of it. Let's just tell the jury, listen, members of the jury, the feds hired ARCA. ARCA did the investigation of the car. They gave their reports. Either side could have called them. The defense called them, and because they called them and they came and testified and did prep and flew down here, the defense paid them $24,000 to come and testify. Just tell the jury that. Who do you think would object to that? Which side do you think would object to us just laying it all out for the jury?
So if I didn't get a chance to hear Brennan speak in open court, and allow me to be the first to say, if you haven't heard it anywhere else first, the dude is a slime bag. I mean, he is so conniving. He is so disingenuous and dishonest and so many other diss words that I can throw out there right now, but I'm not going to for the sake of brevity and because I respect your time.
And that's it. Wow. Just wow.
Wow. What a nothing burger. What an absolute nothing burger.
And I think that Hank Brennan is an abomination.